Let's reconvene this board meeting at 5:17 PM. We have come out of executive session where we made no decisions, and we're going to move right into our agenda and acknowledge guests. Do we have, we don't have anybody online?
There
Yeah,
must
we
be.
do. I just can't see the gallery to show.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
there's four, which
Okay.
is probably Eileen, Britta, Michael.
Working the
Rue.
other day.
Okay, welcome to our guests online. Sorry, and
Joanne.
Joanne, yes, welcome, welcome.
She snuck in.
Okay, so let's move right into the consent agenda. Did everybody have a chance to review the agenda?
Yes.
I did. Yep.
Any questions,
No.
changes?
Oh,
All right. And the, also, have we all reviewed the February 9th meeting minutes? Any changes, corrections, meeting minutes?
No.
Okay, if not, then I would entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I so move that we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, invitation for public comment available at the beginning of the meeting is an opportunity for the public to comment on any issue within the jurisdiction of the Tillamook Bay Community College Board of Education. So do we have anyone who'd like to make public comment in the room or online? All right, moving on to item 4, new business. 4A is discussion of tuition and fees for the 2026-2027. This is a first reading. President Gerald.
Thank you. This time of the year, we begin budget development for 26-27. And as we've discussed before, our revenue, we get about 20% from tuition and fees, about 20% from property taxes, and the balance 60% roughly from the Community College Support Fund. We have had, the college has had a practice of only raising tuition and fees by an inflationary amount so that we don't, to keep up, I guess I should say, with inflation, so that we don't hold them steady for several years in a row and then have to hit the students with a large increase, right? There is a higher education price index that's a modified consumer price index that just focuses on what is the inflation rate for higher education institutions. And in 2025, it was 3.6%. So we recommend a $4 increase, or a 3.6, roughly 4% increase to our tuition and fees, which would amount to a $4 per credit increase to the tuition. So it would move from $114 to $118 per credit, and a $1 increase in the per credit universal fee, which would move from $28 to $29 per credit. So the total per credit fees would be $147 per credit. I did some looking around. This current year, we are the most affordable school out of the 17 community colleges when you consider total cost of attendance, housing and all of that up in. I believe we'll still remain that. I'm not sure if this increase will, if anybody else that was close to us is going to increase by less. I did survey around with the presidents and they are increasing anywhere from, I think there were three colleges that weren't going to increase their tuition or fees. Well, they weren't going to increase tuition. I don't know about fees, they didn't say. But all of the ones that did say they were going to increase, that ranged from 2% to 8%. So we're kind of right in the middle with that and keeping up with what I would consider, kind of a modest inflationary index. We did have a discussion with some students a couple of weeks ago about the impact this might have on them. The comment was like, well, as long as I'm still continuing to get the same value that I'm getting now, they didn't think that would be a significant impact. Historically, Pell increases have kept up with our inflationary increases. We do not anticipate Pell increases next year, though. And in fact, with the workforce Pell coming online and the same coming out of the same pot of money, it's pretty safe that there won't be any increases to Pell. Yeah.
Oh,
Our average student takes about 10 credits a term. So this would be an additional $50 or so per term for our average student. It's significant, but it's, and not, try not to have it be, too much. So that would be our recommendation. We are going to continue to work with students to get some feedback, more feedback from students. At our next board meeting, when we'll ask for a decision, I'll see if I can't nail down with the business officers. Dave and I can maybe nail down what we know other schools are doing, just to give you kind of a sense of where we're going to land within all of that. So questions about tuition and fees or how we do it, those of you that are might be new, we combine like a lot of little fees into this universal fee so that we only have two fees, the tuition and the one fee per credit.
In general, I support this idea. The thing that makes me uncomfortable is that Pell may not increase, and so it's an average of $50 out of pocket for a full-time student or more if they're taking more than 10 credits. So that makes me a little uncomfortable because I know that for some challenged, financially challenged students, $50 out of pocket can be a lot. So it makes me wonder if there are there any opportunities, if a student were to come to the business office and say, I just can't pay it? Like, are there any opportunities for a safety net for people who just plain don't have that?
Well, I mean, we know we can do payment plans. We do have the ability to give emergency funds to students. We typically don't do that though for these purposes, but we do. I'll put it this way. If a student had a conversation with one of our student services folks saying that I would like to take that class, but I don't think I can afford the extra tuition by taking that class, we would figure it out. I mean, we do that now, because we have various scholarship funds and things that we can do to kind of help make ends meet. But you're right. I mean, the take home message, if Pell's not increasing for the most part, and Rhoda might, if Rhoda's on and can comment a little bit more detailed about that, feel free. But this would basically reduce their take home amount from their Pell award, is my guess, right? By that.
Yeah, that is true. They're not expecting the Pell to increase for next year. But what is also true is what you just said, that if a student comes to us, I can always find some type of a scholarship or emergency funds to pair them with so we can make it happen.
Yeah, and I should point out that we are still also providing all the textbooks to students, except for nursing. So that is an added benefit as well. But yeah, it is an impact, and I don't, well, to one person, $50, they might be able to manage. To somebody else, it might make the difference.
Is this the first time we have not been able to count on Pell increasing to match the
Yeah,
tuition?
Yes.
It's increased pretty much every year, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes. This is the first time in a lot of years. Oregon Opportunity Grant, which does not cover as many people, is going up a bit. So that will help with it if you get Oregon Opportunity Grant. But it is, I think, only the second year since I've been doing in the financial aid world that it hasn't increased.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, I don't remember this happening before.
It's very rare. And there's, of course, a whole nother world about they're going to run out of money. So that's going to be a conversation for next year. So.
Okay, so this is a first reading. We have a little time to chew on it.
Absolutely.
Does anybody else have
Yeah,
questions?
I just wanted to say,
comments?
it was heartwarming to hear that you brought some students in and they said that this would be doable if they continue to have the same value of education. I mean, that's lovely to hear.
And we had the conversation. Of course, now the group of students that we initially had the conversation with were career-to-career scholar students, so it's not impacting them as much, right? I mean, in all honesty, so they might not have been, it would be different if someone wasn't on that kind of assistance already, right?
Mhm.
So. But we will work with ASTBCC to get more information. So when we come back, we'll be able to fill you in more about any kind of student engagement or issues that there might be around it.
Okay, any other questions, comments on this? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's move on to B, the budget assumptions and guidelines, and Dave.
Thank you. Our budget assumptions were building the budget off of a beginning fund balance of 1.3 million. We will see where we end at the end of this year. I'm hoping it's a little higher than that, but that I think is a fair estimate where we're going to end. The Community College Support Fund, which is our main source from the state that we get, they have not reduced us as far as we know, and don't plan on it as far as we know at this point. So we will assume getting 4.9 million from them next year. That's what we were building in. COLA and step increases for employees based off of the CPIs. It is the West Coast region is at 2.7%. That's the whole Western region. The coastal with Washington, Oregon, California is at 3.1%. We're considering a 3% COLA increase to keep up with that inflation with no step increase. So it would be a 3% across the board for salary. Health insurance premiums, it goes up every year, a set percentage. We're trying to keep up with our contribution there and considering a $50 increase to match the increase from OEB. Our growth assumptions, we're estimating a 3% growth for FTEs, which is very similar to what we experienced during last year. Tuition and fees, as we just discussed, looking for roughly a 4% increase. And then timber revenue. We are set to receive between 450 and 500,000 this year. We don't know that exact amount until we get it, but it's been pretty consistent over the years. We are looking to budget 425, a little more on the conservative side from them in case it does decrease a little bit.
We wouldn't, however, apply that full amount to the general fund. That's what we're anticipating coming in. We want to start, we have built budgets in the past, we talked about before, and balance them with timber tax revenue, sometimes 400,000 to 500,000. We've never had to make those transfers because we've not had very accurate budgeting, I guess we could say. So we've over budgeted a lot of things, so we've never had to make that transfer, and we've had unfilled positions. This year we're trying to be much more diligent about building our budget, so it's more true than it has been in the past. And we're not wanting to use anything other than what would be interest revenue from the timber tax fund. That way we can continue to build the principal up, and we will never commit more than the interest off of that as ongoing expenses, right? Or ongoing
Great.
revenue. And that's been significant because the rates have been pretty high, right? I mean, we're thinking somewhere in the $250,000 this year. We probably will bring in revenue from our timber tax fund, which has a little over 5 million in it.
Great.
Yeah.
It is, in my mind, it is the thing that makes TBCC safe, whereas other community colleges are not. And the fact that we have that and that we don't budget it for operations.
Yeah. 12 of the, I asked all the presidents at our last meeting who was having to make cuts and personnel cuts. 12 of the 18 are needing to make personnel cuts and that's even with, no reduction in the reallocation from the state. So everybody's feeling it. PERS is killing a lot of us, and we got hit hard with PERS this year.
Questions
else?
on anything?
When you talked about the 3% growth assumption in personnel, are you referring to the COLA, the 3% COLA, or what?
Yeah,
Okay.
just
Okay,
3% COLA.
okay,
Yeah.
The 3% growth for growth assumptions, that's in FTEs in
Student growth.
student growth.
oh,
Yeah.
gotcha,
Mhm.
so
It
not
is-
personnel.
No,
Gotcha.
no, sorry,
Okay.
it's understood.
Is
Okay.
that keeping historically with what we've seen in the past?
I mean, we've outpaced.
We've
that quite a bit.
outpaced it,
Yeah.
yeah. we-
That's been historically, the board has, put that kind of 3 to 5% growth on the president as an objective for the president in each year for the past several years. Yeah, and I'll talk a little bit later. I'll give you some more data about the growth.
Have you had a communication with staff about the COLA and no anticipated step increases?
We have, as soon as I knew that we were going to present this to the board this way, we have done that. We've mentioned at the last budget meeting, I've been having, budget forums with the campus. We did float that's likely what it would be and talked about these increases. And then I have one with them, with the campus. I think it's on March 18th or 16th or something, another budget forum. And we'll assume the 19th. Thank you. Assuming we don't get pushback from you all here, we'll tell them that's what we're using to build the budget. And historically, we've given a COLA and allowed those that were step eligible to move a step. Each step is also 3%. We couldn't handle another 6% or 5%, or I think in the past few years, we've gone 6%, 8%, 7%, and it's hard to do. So we could do 3%. And the reason we chose to do it with a COLA instead of a step is that we have a couple employees that are top step. So in this way, it allows all employees to get that COLA as opposed to just the step they wouldn't qualify for.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any discussion or questions? Okay,
So these are the parameters that big bucket parameters that we'll use to develop the budget. Obviously, you all will have with the budget committee a chance to review the budget in much more detail at that point. But these are the assumptions we use to balance that out.
okay. I guess I just want to say that I have been grateful in the years you were just referring to when we could approve 6 or 7% so that people could have a COLA and a step increase. And I'm sad that that's not true this year, but I think everybody is aware of the increase in expense for PERS and, the really hard work you've been doing in budget reduction. And so I hope people understand and I imagine we all share the goal of getting back to step increases.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I think obviously I know that we have a lot of employees that could really use more. And I know that this doesn't keep, I see the change of prices in the grocery store and everything. So I know it doesn't keep up with
Gas
that.
right
but
now,
gas,
yeah.
but we do the best we can. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on that? All right, then let's move on to item C, which is board policy 3300, public records. This is our second reading.
Yep. So, we've been moving policies over to this new naming structure in the board policy library. This is the second reading for public records requests for BP 3300. And we would be asking, there's been no changes since the first reading, that the board approved this board policy, and then we will move on.
Do we have any discussion of this board policy? If not, I would entertain a motion for approval.
I would move that we approve board policy BP 3300 for public records.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, item D is to rescind board policy 107.
This is our old board policy on public records. So with the approval of the new one, we would like to sunset the old one. And so 3300 here will replace the old board policy 107.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to rescind board policy 107?
I move we rescind board policy 107.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. And E is resolution and plaza dedication. This one's kind of fun.
This one is fun. Thank you. So we've been thinking when we were building out our new campus and as we started to see things really come together with the 4 buildings that we've got, really tying things together, we really view the plaza, which is the most unfinished part at this point, but it'll be done in a month.
Better be.
It better be, right? Yeah, you don't know how many times a day I say that, and not as politely either. But we think the plaza really gives us a sense of campus, right? It's a place for students to and the community to congregate. I mean, it gives us an opportunity to have functions in there, and it really does represent, for lack of a better way to describe it, community. It ties the campus together with the community and the folks there. So I was fortunate enough. I knew of John Carnahan. I had never met him. I met him fairly recently. Michael Weisenflue was visiting with him, and he brought him over, and we had just a delightful time. And I was trying to think of who as I was reading, as I learned about TBCC and became president. John Carnahan's name is all over everything, right? I mean, he was a force of nature. He served a long-term president at Lynn Benton Community College, was asked to come here, really, I think, to help do a president search, and then realized like they're not going to get anybody. So the board, I think, asked him if he would stay and be president. He did, and then he kept staying and kept staying. He brought Connie Green here, and then he stayed on to help the foundation. So he's had an impact on this institution even after he was retired long-term from the system. And he was influential in passing the bond that allowed us to build the main building or the student learning and services building over here now that we're calling it. That wouldn't have been built without his impact on the community. He was influential in the partnerships with the county and Oregon State Extension at the PRI building. And we wouldn't have been able to have that without him. And then lo and behold, he came back and helped raise money through the bond campaign for this building. So his fingerprint is all over this. And I couldn't think of a better way to recognize the contributions that he's made to transforming this institution from the mortuary over on First Street to what we're becoming now, right? And so we had conversations at leadership about, and I proposed the idea along with Michael about dedicating the plaza to him and naming it the John Carnahan Plaza, and that was well received. And we didn't need a resolution to do it, but I just think it speaks volumes if the board is so inclined to approve it. Can I take a few minutes and just read it into the
Please
record?
do.
Because I think it really does speak to his. So basically, it's a resolution honoring John Carnahan and naming the campus plaza John Carnahan Plaza. Simply put, few individuals have shaped the history and future of Tillamook Bay Community College as profoundly as John Carnahan. Whereas John Carnahan has devoted more than 2 decades of extraordinary service to Tillamook Bay Community College as consultant, president, foundation leader, advisor, and steadfast champion, helping move the college from uncertainty to strength and from vision to reality. And whereas he first came to the college at a pivotal time when it lacked independent accreditation, had experienced multiple unsuccessful bond measures, and faced significant leadership challenges, and at the request of the Board of Education, following his distinguished presidency at Lynn Benton Community College, chose to come out of retirement to guide the institution toward a sustainable and hopeful future. And whereas through his authentic and tireless engagement with students, faculty, staff, and importantly, community partners across Tillamook County, he rebuilt trust in the college, united the community behind a shared vision, culminating in the successful May 2007 bond measure that created the Student Learning and Services Building, and for the first time provided local students a true collegiate home. And whereas his leadership established the partnerships, secured the property, and advanced a long-term vision that made possible the development of the modern campus, including the future Partners for Rural Innovation Center, ensuring that rural students would have access to transfer education, workforce training, and pathways to living wage careers close to home. And whereas he revitalized the Tillamook Bay Community College Foundation, strengthened the college's culture of philanthropy, expanded scholarship opportunities for students, and created enduring avenues through which the community could invest in the dreams and futures of its residents. And whereas through his mentorship and guidance in the recruitment and support of future presidential leadership, John Carnahan helped the college achieve independent accreditation, its first successful comprehensive accreditation cycle, and the continued growth of programs and facilities that now serve the region. And whereas even after his presidency, he continued to give generously of his time, wisdom, and counsel without compensation, supporting the successful May 2022 bond measure that is making possible the Administration Health Sciences Building and the campus transformation. And whereas his legacy is one of connection, bringing together the college and its community, turning aspiration into achievement and creating opportunity for generations of students, the campus plaza, as the heart of the college and a place of gathering and shared purpose, stands as a fitting and lasting symbol of the vision and relationships he devoted his life to building. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Tillamook Bay Community College Board of Education hereby expresses its deepest gratitude to John Carnahan for his extraordinary and distinguished service, his visionary and selfless leadership, and his transformational and enduring impact on the college and the people of Tillamook County. And be it further resolved that in recognition of this legacy, the Central Plaza of Tillamook Bay Community College shall be formally and permanently named John Carnahan Plaza.
It's a
Wonderful.
beautiful tribute.
That is
That
very
is
nice.
beautifully
It's
written.
just
Did you write that all yourself?
I did.
My God.
Michael helped me.
Oh,
It's lovely.
wow.
Very nice. I
Yeah.
wish he were online. I wish he could have heard you read that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
you'll
very
have to
He's-
read that.
I will. We will, should you adopt this, he is coming to the dedication, next
good.
month. He's excited by it. I think if he hasn't, he's soon to have his 80th birthday.
Oh, yeah.
So he's real excited to come back to campus. Michael, are you on there? Do you want to give a comment or say anything? I know you're friends with John.
Yeah, I can't tell you how much well, I helped push this a little bit. But I really just want to emphasize for those of you that weren't around when John was around that I don't think it's too much to say without him at the helm, the college might not even be here today. It was not a good situation. We were in a bad place at the mortuary. We had 2 failed bond issues. We were having problems with our accreditation with Portland Community College, because we didn't have independent accreditation. And he basically shepherded us through a really tough period. And I think a really big reason why the college is here today was because of John Carnahan.
Wow. How many years was
Thank
he
you, Michael.
president? Do you know?
5
Nothing.
years.
5 years?
5
or-
years?
It's a
Okay.
lot to
Yeah,
do in
that's a
5
lot.
years.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, then he recruited Connie.
He recruited
Yeah.
Connie.
And he hung around forever and worked with the foundation and stuff even after he was gone as president.
Yeah, he really pushed the emeritus piece.
Yeah, he's a
He was-
character
he was
too.
a-
I really
just
enjoyed
A
chatting with
wealth
him.
to have here.
Will Connie Green be invited to that also?
She is, yes, and
Oh, cool.
she's coming to my knowledge, and Ross has confirmed. Ross will be here as well.
Good.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Be amazing. I was sitting in the airport in Washington DC waiting for my plane. And this voice from the other side, Suzanne Weber. And it was unmistakably Connie
Connie.
Green.
That's
Oh.
wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that recently or a while ago?
Yeah.
That's a great small world experience.
Mhm.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
Working
well-
with small colleges still.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing them all.
Me too, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, board, I will entertain a motion to approve the resolution and plaza dedication.
I move to approve the dedication to John Carnahan.
Yes.
And I
Do I have to say all
wholeheartedly
of it?
second that.
Okay, all right, we have a motion and a second. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was, and we will, Michael, I'll have you, we'll get a electronic copy of this signed resolution here, and maybe you can shoot it off to John.
Sure, great.
Okay, let's move on to item F, which is the legislative update.
Good. I just wanted to mention a few things. There is in your packet, the OCCA kind of review of sort of the short session and some of the issues. It was published, I believe, before the session had ended. But I just want to mention a few bills that we were tracking that would have impacted us. First of all, the big news is that no cuts to our community college support fund. I know that I'm sure Senator Weber, those weren't easy conversations to deal with because everybody is deserve the support, but I do feel that you know, I'm biased because I've been in community colleges for over 30 years, but we are the source of the economic mobility for so many people, and so I appreciate the support that the legislation gave us. We'll be good stewards of that money. There were a few bills that we were tracking that could have impacted us negatively, depending upon how you might want to look at it. Senate Bill 1537 was one on governance. Basically, the take-home message from that one was that there would be a student who's a voting member on all boards, in addition to a few other things. But there was concern about students being voting members. What would they do with executive session? Would they be unduly influenced by other parties on campus and things like that? So basically, I think the bill went back and forth a little bit, and essentially, I think died because it was referred back to the education committee or subcommittee, which had adjourned for the session, right? So,
Yes,
but I think there is intent that it will see it come back in the longer session.
it comes back every year.
It comes back every year,
Mhm.
yeah. So we'll look forward to that. It doesn't, I don't see a huge impact on us. I worry about in some institutions, though, the undue influence that labor groups or other groups could put on a student trustee that puts them in a sort of an unfair position. But I like the nod to having student voice on governance boards. I think that piece is important, so.
The thing that I argued on that is that you don't have longevity with a
Yes,
student.
right.
Yes,
And
yeah.
so, your carryover and what you're planning to do as a result of student involvement very seldom happens.
Yeah, especially at a community college, right? I
Right.
mean, it's not like at a university where you might get someone for 2 or 3 years, right? That they stay active, maybe even 4 if you're lucky. But for us, we turn over every year, sometimes multiple times within a year. And it's hard for our students to commit, I think, to some of the things, but they like that.
I'm curious what impact that they would have on the board if they're a non-voting member.
They participate in discussion as a non-voting member,
Right.
right? And would be able to participate in discussion just like I can or other members do. They would provide that student voice for you to consider in your deliberation. And many, there are many, I don't know how many, but I am aware of community colleges that have student trustees on there that just participate in discussions but don't vote. Another one we were tracking, House Bill 4124. This basically was a bill that it did pass, and it basically charged the Higher Education Coordinating Commission to do a study of the system of higher education in the state of Oregon, and with a lens of, I think, creating and is there a way to create an efficient, better functioning group as opposed to 7 public universities and 17 community colleges all functioning independently of each other. my fear, there's a lot of chatter, and I think I've mentioned this before, within the HEC and with some legislators about the viability, the fiscal viability of some of our regional universities and community colleges. And my fear with this is this would lead to they want it to lead to recommendations, and I think it would lead to a recommendation that some schools just can't support themselves. And I think it's the regionals that would be hurt. And I think some of the community colleges would be hurt quite a bit by this, right? We're very different than Oregon Coast and Clatsop. We have different communities. We're also governed differently than the 4 years, and that throws a wrinkle. We also were established by the voters of the county, our districts. Of course, the legislation can change that if they want to, but we'll see how that goes. So, yeah, it's just a study, but I worry about the outcome of that given the pressures on small institutions. The other bill that passed that we were tracking is House Bill 4079. This is basically, I'll refer to it as the ICE policy. Basically just states that public education institutions must have a policy for how they will respond in the event that federal immigration authorities would arrive on property on campus. And so we will develop that policy for that. We have said informally what we would do, but we haven't put it in board policy and procedure. So we will be doing that. And OCCA will have some recommended language for us. Obviously, but the board will want to look at that carefully. So that's what we were tracking for the most part. I don't know, Suzanne, if you have anything you want to put on there that you think might impact the colleges from the short session, but
No, those were the main drivers. There weren't a lot of education bills that came out of the Senate.
Yeah.
There were more that came out of the House, but the majority of them that came out of the House died.
Okay.
Suzanne, thank you for your advocacy for community colleges, and thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. Also for the food bank, thank you so much. You were advocate for.
Yes, and I'm not sure if we got that resolved yet or not, but we're
Right,
working.
but
Mhm.
spoke up.
Still working on things, huh?
Okay, then let's move on to item G, authorization for additional check signer and removal of check signer. Dave,
I think you have the paperwork.
we do?
Yeah,
Okay.
there. So
That is-
you'll need to sign that one and this one.
So that is just removing Kylie as a signer and adding Jason Lawrence as a signer.
Yeah, we also list so we're adding Jason, removing Kylie, and these are the other signers that we currently have, and you just need to
Okay,
sign there and we return that back to the bank.
okay. All right, that is not an action item then. It is. Okay,
We just, well, yeah.
Well, action in the sense that.
do we need to, does the board need to approve it? Okay.
Did the board need to approve this?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then I will sign, and let's move on to item 5, information only items, starting with A, the health sciences program.
Hey, Tiffany Slover, are you on Zoom? Yeah, there she is, our dean.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Hello.
welcome.
Ooh,
How are you guys doing?
Pretty
awesome.
well.
Yeah, the new
We're in
room's
your-
pretty great. Yeah,
Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful.
yeah.
Chairs
Oh, I need to sneak up there tomorrow and sit in some chairs, it sounds like. All right, so I have a PowerPoint like I did last time, just to kind of give you guys something to look at while I'm chatting. And I have notes here, so if I'm looking off the screen, it's just to make sure that I stay on track so I can not talk as long as I did last time, because I talked longer than I wanted to.
You were fine, but go ahead.
I feel better having notes, but yeah, it just means I'm not looking at the camera necessarily. So we just wanted to give an update for how our allied health program is doing, because a lot of exciting things have happened since I saw you guys last. It's been quite a while. And it sounds like, I think Cheryl's running my slides. So Cheryl, you could go to the next. All right, so really quick, I'm going to give you guys some student highlights. And then we're going to chat about some program updates really quick, just so you know what's going on, because we have a lot of exciting things on deck. And then at the end, if you guys have any questions, I can field those as needed. So next. All right, so student highlights. Our allied health programs continue to primarily serve first generation and local students, and this directly aligns with our mission as a rural community college. We continue to see students completing multiple allied health programs. So 13 of our current nursing students entered with additional allied health certificates, and 2 of our current allied health students have multiple credentials this year. So it's pretty exciting to see that they're stacking these different skills. So even if we have, for example, I believe the phlebotomy job market locally in Tillamook isn't necessarily one of those living wage jobs, students are taking that certificate so that they can add it to their resume. So it's still very valuable, even though phlebotomy in and of itself might not be something that someone's going to do for a career. So students are moving through intentional stackable pathways, and this directly supports our college's Rural Guided Pathways initiative by creating clear entry points, structured progressions, and then workforce ready exit points in every stage. So in a rural community, this model strengthens persistence, completion, and long-term local employment. And one very real example of this is our EMT-B, which is basic, onto our EMT-A, which is advanced. And then another is our nursing assistant, moving on to the registered nurse program. So next slide. Next slide. Thank you. So first up, we have advanced EMT. If you guys recall when I chatted with you last, this was an up and coming program. So we did run it in summer, and we did not get quite the turnout that we wanted with this program. And we learned after the fact that there were a lot of people interested, but they were off fighting fires all over the country. Some went down to California and they were going all over the place. So they just weren't available to take the advanced EMT course. So we have kind of pivoted, and we're going to be offering this course the next time in fall. And we currently have some basic EMT students who are finishing up who are interested in our AEMT program. So instead of offering it in the summer like we did previously, that actually gives our students some time over the summer to practice and get hours as basic EMTs before they enroll in our advanced EMT program. So we're pretty excited about that. We only had 4 students this past summer, but all 4 of them have completed and are able to have that advanced certification. And right now we have applications open. I think most, if not all of our programs are have application open right now, with the exception of the 2 I'm going to talk about that we just did interviews last week. Oh, next slide. Next up, we have EMT-B, and this is our long-standing EMT program we've had at TBCC. We went through a HEC accreditation May of 2025, and we received a really successful review, and we had 0 deficiencies. If anything that maybe we would not have met on, our director, Dr. Alexander Tripp, already had a plan for how we were changing things, and things were already in motion. So they were very pleased with our program and excited that it has been a long-standing successful program for the college and for our region. Let's see here. We currently have students who are in their second of 2 terms. So they're mostly in clinical, and it sounds like the community is really enjoying having them. Clinicals are going really well. And in just a couple of weeks here at the end of the term, those students are going to be able to sit for their national exams. And in addition to all of that, this is one of the programs we are considering for an apprenticeship pathway that we are working on. We got a grant, I guess not a grant. I don't know what you call, I don't know if it's called a grant, but we're participating with a cohort, and we have a stipend to develop some apprenticeship opportunities that are non-traditional. So typically when people think about apprenticeships, it's, pipe fitting and welding and electricians. So this is to develop apprenticeships for non-traditional pathways. And of course, we saw a really big opportunity for our healthcare programs So EMT was a big one for us because we already have fire stations that pay for their volunteers to go to the EMT basic course. So that was kind of a natural progression to just kind of solidify what we're already doing. So that's going to be a really great partnership. We're working on that right now. It's in development. So more to come on that. Next slide, please. Next up, MA. This is another program we've had for a really long time. And it really feeds into the way that these more rural communities run a lot of their clinics. They lean a lot more heavily on medical assistants than they do other credentialed individuals. So it's been a really popular program, and we typically run pretty full classes with this one, and that's not changed. In 2024, the community asked us to change the program so that there weren't so many prerequisites to get into it, and that our students could get everything they needed within the program and get to work quicker. So our instructor, Kaiza, completely revamped the program where it doesn't require any prerequisites anymore, and they get everything they need right within the MA program. And that's been going really well. That cohort as well, they're in their second of 2 terms, so they're in their clinical experience. And from what we're hearing from our clinical partners, that's going well as well. And this is the second of our programs that we are adding for consideration for apprenticeship pathway, because we have some community partners who really would like to take current employees that they have and kind of move them into this MA role. And this would allow us to do that while they're still working for that employer. Next slide. All right, so next we've got nursing, and there have been, of course, many big milestones since I chatted with you guys last. We've had a cohort graduate. So one of our really big things that we're very excited about is we had our final approval survey that happened in November. And we've just heard, I think it was just a handful of weeks ago, mid-February, that we received final approval from the Board of Nursing. So that's like the last stamp. We're now good to go, and we're approved through February of 2030, which is when we will also be surveyed for accreditation with a national accreditor. So that's that future ACEN accreditation here I have on this slide. That's a new requirement by the Oregon State Board of Nursing for all nursing programs. So that's our next really big project to start working on. Cohort 1 graduated end of last spring. And we actually just got some numbers back from a survey from quite a few of them this past week. And let's see, it was 12 of our 14 students passed the NCLEX on their first try, which is very exciting. 1 student has retaken it and since passed. So we're at 13 out of 14 have passed their state boards, and 11 have confirmed that they are working as RNs. And that doesn't mean that the other 2 that haven't confirmed yet aren't. We just haven't heard back from them. So that's really exciting to hear, because we've put, that many new nurses out. Some of them are still working locally. Some of them, like we have one up in Seaside. Some have gone over into the Valley because there are a lot of positions over there. But it's really neat to know that we put that many new registered nurses out.
Yeah.
Well done.
Geez.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Amazing.
It's gone so fast, but so slow.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been quite the experience.
And it's a great pass rate for the exam.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We were thrilled, and the thing that's really interesting, cohort 2 is very different than cohort 1. So it'll be interesting to see how, their stats come back, because they are cohort 1. We let everybody in who applied, and not everybody, made it to the end, but it was a very mixed bunch. Cohort 2, they're very studious, but also they don't have the same test performance as cohort 1. So it'll be interesting to see, because they're going through the same NCLEX preparation course, to see how that actually pans out. In cohort 3, they are very studious and not nearly as nervous or anxious about tests. So I'm sure their numbers are going to look completely different. But that's why we track our statistics, just to kind of see where we can move and pivot to help support our students. So the Oregon State Board of Nursing has a little bit higher standards than a national accreditation. And it was really exciting when we learned that, our pass rate was so high because we exceeded what we needed from the Oregon State Board of Nursing. And we easily passed what will be our future requirement next time we have to go through our survey with ASIN, because I think theirs is 80. So we're well above that. And hopefully we can support cohort 2 and get them to where they need to be. So currently, cohort 2 is finishing up their 5th term, getting ready to head into 6th term. So that's going to be more focused on their final one-on-one practicums, and they're going to be done before we know it. And then our 3rd cohort is getting ready to move into their last term of their 1st year. And I can't believe it, but we have interviews in just a couple months for our 4th cohort, which is wild. So we're 4 cohorts in, and we've had to start referring to them as year 1 and year 2 students, because the cohorts are reversed from, so it's going to be too much to keep track of. So here soon we'll just be talking about year 1 and year 2 students, which is a good place to be, because we've got enough cohorts through that we're not going to be like cohort 51 and cohort 50.
Wow.
If we're all here for that would be a bit down the road. But yeah, we're trying to move to year 1 and year 2, because that makes sense to people who don't understand, that the lower cohort is actually the more advanced of our students. Make sure I didn't miss anything else here that's notable. Things are just going really well with the nursing program. We're growing and we're learning and we're pivoting. So it's been really neat. And one thing that's really nice about having such a small group is we are able to make those adjustments, not quite in real time, but pretty quickly, kind of term by term as we need to support that personality of that cohort. And then also hear feedback from our clinical partners and adjust if they need more of a certain topic that they're not seeing the students have prepared when they go into clinical. So yeah, really exciting stuff with nursing. I know it's the new shiny thing. And so some of our other programs don't get quite the same, glitter and stars and whatnot. But it's a really big accomplishment for the school as a whole. So it is very exciting.
Truly.
So yeah, let's see. Next slide, please. So next up, nursing assistant program. This is something that I think one cohort was ran prior to my start with TBCC, and the program got put on hiatus. So we had to get it reapproved to start again, because it was put on hiatus just long enough that we had to kind of start over. But that was okay, because we got to kind of remake it the way that made sense for the way Allied Health is running now. And we ran our first cohort through last summer. And while summer may seem like kind of an odd time to choose to start, this is not the traditional start of the school year, we wanted to be able to offer that opportunity to high school students who were in between maybe their junior and senior years, or who had already just graduated their senior year and were wanting to be able to get into the field and get working quickly. And we had one high school student. She was incredible, and I have no doubt we'll see her in not too long in one of our nursing cohorts. So it was really neat to see that we were able to offer that opportunity, because a lot of our different certifications require students to be a little bit older. So, they can't do that when they're 16. So that was really neat. And let's see here. So we had a cohort of 10, which is our max that we can accept. We actually had waitlist students for our very first offering, which was pretty exciting. And we just finished a program survey at the same time. So they actually came out and surveyed our nursing program and our nursing assistant program at the same time, which was a surprise for us. We didn't know the NA person was also coming. But we were approved for another 2 years, which is great because we're a brand new program. And we actually were being reviewed under a new set of OARs. So we couldn't even really ask around to see what other schools and other private programs were doing because they were approved under old OARs. So we were kind of figuring it out as we went, but it worked really well. And we finished our interviews last week for our next cohort, which is going to be in the spring. And we have 5 students who have accepted spots and already have a lot of students who have deferred to summer term and some other students who are very interested and have already been talking with our program coordinator about summer term. So it's actually kind of a surprise to me that I think for this particular program, summer is going to be our more full class, which makes sense because, people's kids are not in school, so maybe they're more available to come to the program. We'll be trying to collect some data on why maybe summer is a more attractive option for people, but that is our next offering. So we have spring term that we've already accepted our students into, and then we will have a summer offering as well again. And from the looks of it, we might fill up again, which is a good place to be. And it's really exciting. They get to use our skills lab in the new building. They're going to share a space with the skills lab that we use for our RN students as well. So since they're such closely tied professions, it makes really a lot of sense to keep them in the same space. So they will be in the nursing skills lab. And at the end of summer term, we were able to get our facility approved to be a testing site. So that means that our NA students can test in our lab where they've done all of their skills lab, so they're more comfortable. But additionally, people can sign up from elsewhere on the coast and come test at our site for the dates we offer instead of having to go into the valley to find a different place to go take their state hands-on skills test. So that was pretty exciting. And I know our students really appreciated being able to do their hands-on skills test in the skills lab that they practiced for the first 8 weeks of their course. And I think I wouldn't be surprised because I'm not sure if it was all of the students that we interviewed, but it seems like it was all the students that we interviewed last week. All of them had plans to go into the nursing program. So it does seem like this is going to be a really great program that's going to spark interest and kind of feed into our nursing program, which was our absolute intent, in addition to being able to support, some of the facilities in our region that do need NAs. And it's kind of hard to get people to come from the valley or whatnot to come work in those facilities. So people who are local, who are able to do that, and then decide if they want to further their education. So pretty exciting stuff going on with NA, and I'm really looking forward to watching this program kind of grab some momentum and start, building on its own reputation, but it is still very new. So we'll see how it goes with that one. Next slide, please. So phlebotomy, it's another one of our really long running programs. I'm not even sure how long it's been going, but it's very successful. And last year, we made a shift from running one bigger cohort to splitting that up and running 2 smaller cohorts. So it is our only other program that runs twice a year instead of just once a year with a fall start. And that was really so that there could be a whole lot more like hands-on observation and support from the instructor during lab time to really support those students instead of trying to help. I think her old classroom cap was like 20 or 25 students, all with needles, and that was just a lot. So by cutting that cohort in half and then offering it twice a year, it really does give our instructor the opportunity to really help those students. And even more important, in this case at least, it's a lot more safe. So only 10 or so students running around with needles is a much better situation than 20 plus students running around with needles. And that's worked really well. We're very pleased with like the outcome, and the students are feeling a lot more comfortable, and they're getting a lot more one-on-one time with our instructor during their labs times. And we also just finished interviews for this program last week. And it looks like for spring cohort, we are going to have 7 students who have confirmed that they're accepting their spot in the program. And we have 1 high school student, which is pretty neat because she's a high school student, but she's 18, so she's able to go do her clinical at the Adventist Hospital. So I love seeing when we have students who are either just newly graduated from high school or still in high school that are able to be in our programs, because it's just, for those who really know what they're doing, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was 17 or 18, but some of these students are really keyed in. And so it's great that they can get that early start. All right. And next slide, please. So our allied health classroom and lab, I'm not sure, obviously you guys are able to see it as you're walking up the stairs to the boardroom. Today it was full of ladders, so not super exciting to look at. But this classroom, I think a lot of us call it like the EMT lab for short, but really it does house not just EMT, but also medical assistant and phlebotomy. And we're really hoping, because we have those beautiful windows where you can see into the classroom, that, you know, more and more we can move some of our programs more to daytime hours where people can kind of see what's going on in there and see lots of action when the rest of the building is open. I know historically some of those programs were asked to move to evening time because that's when students were available to take classes, you know, after work. So that's how we've ended up with a bunch of these allied health programs take place after hours, and the rest of the school is really out of touch with allied health because they all leave for the day and that's just when allied health is getting there. But we're really working to make sure we're trying to bring on with new instructors that they have availability during the daytime, because the students of today are not the same students, you know, 10 or 15 years ago that wanted to do evening and night classes. So we're trying to adjust, and it's pretty exciting that we have some programs that, yes, can be moved to the daytime. So in that room, we've got new equipment for phlebotomy and for a medical assistants. And then probably the most exciting piece, which I know Paul was working on before I even started with TBCC, was the simulation rig. And there is a tentative date that it might be arriving next Tuesday on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, wow.
So don't hold me to that. It's not confirmed yet, but we're wanting to make sure it gets here before open house. And I think it'll get here next week. So that's very exciting because, you know, our students can get in there and act with a patient as if they just picked someone up and, you know, really find out what it's like to be in the back of an ambulance before they're jumping in the back of a real ambulance. There's not a lot of space in there. So, you know, having an idea of what to expect before you're back there is probably going to be really helpful for our students. And we can't wait to get in there and see what that's all about. All right, next slide, please. And lastly, we have our nursing classroom and lab. So as I already mentioned, this is going to house our nursing and our nursing assistant programs. So in there we have 4 beds. They're not quite hospital rooms because they don't have stationary walls, but they have curtains like if you were to go to the ED, where the different beds are just separated by curtains. And then in addition to that, we have our 2 very impressive and really exciting simulation rooms with the simulation control room in the middle. And we just got all that stuff set up a couple weeks ago. We had Laerdal come out and we've got microphones and speakers and all these fancy cameras so we can watch like from a bird's eye view of what the students are doing. And it's going to be very neat because today I actually sat in a simulation exercise with some of our first years. And if you guys have seen the classroom that we currently operate out of 101 in the Student Learning Services building, we were in the storage closet with a tablet on some like tray tables that you would see like at the hospital. Well, the students were in the classroom. So it's going to be a world of difference once we can get into our simulation rooms with a simulation control room, and there's like all this space to stretch out, and we're all gonna be able to hear what's going on. We're not looking at this little like 11-inch tablet. So it's really exciting. We're not gonna know what to do with ourselves when we get in there, but it's gonna be fun, and the students are really excited, which is a great thing to see because when I went to nursing school way too long ago, we did simulation twice, once in my first year, once in my second year. It was a horrible experience. And the fact that students are really excited and wanting to do more is really great to see because it's a really great piece to augment the fact that we are a small community in Tillamook and we don't always have the clinical experience that we want our students to see. So anything that's not being covered or it's not coming up at the hospital, we have the ability to create a simulation about that and have our students walk through that so we can see how they react and interact, and we can more importantly provide education to our students and feedback and support. So it's really exciting and it's very state of the art. It's neat that we didn't have to retrofit our simulation program into an existing space. We got to create it from scratch. So I expect really great things out of our simulation space in that room. And then make sure I'm not missing anything here. All right, next slide. So do you guys have any questions about what we have going on over in Allied Health?
Wow.
It's a lot.
Yes. It's a
We're
very
like kind of down in
complete-
the weeds, so it's very like moment to moment for us. But
Thank you for your very complete
yeah.
presentation. Whoa.
Yeah, no, we've had so much happen since I saw you guys last, so I figured it warranted a little more detail than probably you'll see from me next time because a lot of this will be old news by then. But
I'm so excited for our students and staff to be
Yeah.
able to learn in this gorgeous facility. It's really,
Yes.
they cannot wait to get over here because our
I
offices are over
bet.
here, but the students are still over in our old classroom. So they're just like chomping at the bit to
I bet they are.
get over. Yeah, in our second cohort, they're going to get to do the last term of their program over in the new building, and they're
Good.
so excited.
Yeah. It's so uplifting. It's uplifting just to look at the classrooms. Yeah, and
Yeah.
just imagine like our community did this for our students. It's really remarkable.
Yeah. Well, I hope we get to see a bunch, if not all of you, at the open house. We're going to have both rooms staffed with our full-time faculty. We're going to have the sim room up and running. We'll have our simulation rooms kind of up and running. So if you guys want to stop by and see kind of everything in action, we really look forward to seeing you.
Wonderful. Thank you. I do have
Yeah.
one question. I'm on the board also for an organization called Tides of Change. Do you know Tides of
Mhm.
Change?
When we very first started the program, we did do a little bit of interaction with them.
Mhm.
So it's something we are familiar with, but we've not been in touch with them recently.
Great. Well, I'm asking because Tides of Change has just stood up a new program for sexual assault nurse examiners,
Mhm.
and we have two, and we need more. And so I
okay.
wondered if there's an opportunity to partner, just to have a little piece in the curriculum explaining here's something that's an opportunity for nurses in our community. Here's what it means, etc.
Yeah, and this is actually really timely. We have a new course that is starting next term called Special Populations. It used to be in their last term, but we went through curriculum committee and got it moved to the last term of their first year instead of the last term of their second year, so that our students are more equipped when they get to see different things in the hospital. Because what happens, because Adventist is small, they have a low census here, and so they grab our students and they take them to a different unit. And so we wanted to make sure they had a good understanding of mom baby and psych and all of those special populations that aren't just like your med surg ER patients. So that is definitely some place that we can add some curriculum there.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Shall I ask someone from that program to get a hold of you?
Absolutely. It might be someone we've already been chatting with because I know they were coming out because we had asked our first year or our first cohort students if they wanted to be actors for when they originally were doing the
first
initial push
screening.
for SANE. Yeah, for
Mhm.
those students in their program, they had asked our students if anybody wanted to be actors. I don't think anybody took them up on it because it's pretty intense
Right.
and not the most pleasant thing to take part in. So it might be someone we've been in touch with, but it definitely would not hurt to get back in touch with them now that our new building is up and running and seeing how we can partner and support
Great.
them for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Yeah. No problem.
Thanks for your work and for your enthusiasm.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Anything else for Tiffany?
Yeah, great.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
All right. That was lovely. I'm not sure we've clapped in this board meeting.
I don't know, it just felt like.
It was deserving. It absolutely deserved a
Well, it
clap.
really was.
Yeah,
Thinking,
for
"Oh,
sure.
She's doing all that.
Yeah, that is a lot. Okay, do we have an ASTBCC report tonight? No. Okay, then let's move right into the financial report.
Okay. It's not gonna be nearly as exciting as that.
Come on, Dave.
Give it a go.
I'll try,
Make
but
it exciting.
It's up to you to make it exciting.
Yeah.
that's true, that's true.
Pressure's on.
Yes. Okay, so our financial is through January, so we should be at 58.33% of the fiscal year at this point. Looking through our revenues, the state revenue, we will have one more payment coming, so you'll see we've gotten 3 of our 4 payments from them. Property taxes were 93% in. We get the bulk of that when those come out. So a little bit more will trickle in over the next few months. We should have one more round of tuition and fees coming with the next term. Interest will slowly creep in through the rest of the year. That's fairly steady. Get down to the expenses. That's the exciting part for us because we're seeing some of those cost savings that we acted on previously. So we are definitely under budget in the expenditures.
Great.
We will see some of the additional expense from this building start to creep in here, and I don't think it's going to push us over in Jason's department at all, but we won't see quite the savings we were there. Yeah, we're sitting at a 42% in our expenditures versus the 58% where we should be in that. So that's good. That's
good.
we will see those catch up to the revenues. Our revenues are almost done for the year, but each month our expenses will creep back up. But I expect to see it perform better than budget, but yeah. Any questions?
Do we have any questions for Dave?
Are you gonna share the recipe for your?
In a couple months, you have to come out on the boat. That's where it starts.
Sign me up.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
That's
Very
self-taught.
Yeah.
That's even makes
Yeah.
it better.
Yeah, it's nothing super fancy, but yeah, I'd be
It's
happy
very
to
good.
share.
So you caught the fish, smoked the fish.
But he can't eat it because.
But I can't eat it. I'm
No.
allergic to
Oh,
fish.
seriously?
Oh my
God.
gosh.
That's cruel.
Wow.
That's not fair.
Thank you
That's
for doing
a
it.
joke
Happy
on
to
me.
help you out with that part.
I thought you might be.
Thank you for doing it for us. Thank
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, well, if we don't have any questions for Dave other than recipes, let's move on to the construction updates.
I have to say, speaking of recipes.
Yes.
Jason is the current reigning champion.
Oh.
He didn't bring his, you should have.
I
worn
should have
your-
worn.
You should.
Yeah, the chili, there's medallion. He's got a big medallion.
Oh.
It's a chili cook-off
Oh.
champion.
Oh.
He had a brisket chili that, and I'm not bitter that I didn't win.
Came in third.
I mean.
Thank you. I could have been second.
Second?
Who was that?
Were you second?
I tied for second with
Oh.
Justin, but Lori was the tiebreaker and she
Holly.
gave me third
Holly.
place. So, I don't know what that says about my
Holly
relationship.
did
with
it.
my
I
good
removed
sister.
myself.
We would be happy to try your chili next month.
It was a great event, you guys. It was fun.
Really great.
How many? We had 9 entries.
None.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
It was,
And everyone commented that they really enjoyed it. They were,
It was a lot of fun.
yeah, you got a card, we voted, tasting, rated them. It was fun.
It sounds
and
like fun.
everybody enjoyed it.
Nice.
He will, at next board meeting, he'll show you his trophy that he used to keep for 11 more
Please.
months.
Oh, where?
Yeah, bring it.
You get it right.
It matches any outfit.
Okay, well, thank you for everyone that came on our tour over to CIT. Super excited. CIT is coming along. We anticipate the building itself being done around April 1st. And then we can start furnishing it, putting in systems, getting it ready to come online. I think our overall goal is to move those programs over the summer term. A lot of heavy equipment to move from the high school and the port. And then hopefully we'll have our classes starting there in fall. So we're really excited about that. The building is no longer baby blue, which is probably my favorite thing. It matches our buildings. They're again bringing the campus feeling together with all our buildings matching. So I'm really excited to get that done and online. It should show very well for the April 18th event. We'll have some demos in there and it will be furnished and looking good. This building, we're working on our punch list. We're getting it kind of dwindled down. I think we're down to about half left, just a couple hundred items remaining. Quite the list, but we're getting there slowly. We've had some hurdles, but we're working with the subcontractors to get everything resolved. I think staff is starting to settle in. And then next week we will start moving some of the programming over so that we can start our spring term. Tiffany and her team will be moving those programs over. So it'll be exciting to have students actively here every day. We're starting to get more student traffic. We have students using our study lounges here at the end of the hallway, which is
Great.
exciting. I walked down there and was startled. I wasn't ready for that, but there was actually both of the study rooms are in use, which I forget that we're not under construction anymore. Same thing with the restrooms. There's people coming and going and we can't stand around and talk to subcontractors everywhere. So, but all in all, this building is coming online really well. We do have some movement on the plaza, so we're hopeful that will be wrapping up and completed by the April 18th event. Which will kind of just put the bow on the overall package for the campus. So things are moving really well. If there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions for
It
Jason?
probably goes to a few people here. With the move, are we sunsetting the lease agreement with the school district, or are we've reached the end of that lease agreement? And what are our obligations to the district? And in terms of returning the building to any preset condition or anything like that, or are those all to be determined still?
I think the bulk of that is probably still yet to be determined. We do have, I believe, 1 more year on the lease, but they are anxious to get space back
Your
from
space,
us.
yeah.
I think that's the next step. We've had our first visit over there to try to get a sense of what all is coming over here and what's staying there and what stuff that we don't need that we might have to surplus or see if the high school wants. We just started doing that. So we'll have to have that conversation with the district about the lease, because we will have to, well, I assume they'll want it back, so we'll break the lease somehow.
And our name comes off the building too.
I'm sure they're probably have crowbars in hand ready. They can't wait. to take that off, but yes, it will. And I'm excited because it gives the students that are over there in the high school that are studying it something different to come over to
Yes,
over here.
yeah, that's been a real.
All the
big
equipment
piece.
and most of the equipment's going to be new that's in there, so they'll have access to a lot of good space.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Any other construction or building questions? If not, let's move on to the president's report.
Thank you. I'll be brief in the interest of time. I do want to point out just a few things on here. We've touched on a number, but I do want to mention enrollment a little bit. Last time we met, I had indicated that our enrollment looks like it was going to be flat. We had a glitch in our data for that and have updated our enrollment, and we're actually tracking to be up about 10% year over year.
Great.
Woo.
So we
Great.
like those. I'm not
the right
looking
kind
at.
of glitch.
I did not. throw
I had
you
a
under
bad
the bus
day.
there.
I just, sometimes you have a bad day.
Sometimes you do, but it's okay. We saw it, but it's a good, the
Sure.
resolution was good.
I
It was in
came
the
in
right direction.
Yeah.
Again.
Thank you.
Didn't go
Error in
the
the
other
right
way.
So we finished last year at 585 FTE, so it wouldn't be unrealistic that we're in the 620 to 630 range.
Wow.
Given this, if the growth continues through the spring, which I anticipate it will. We've just started spring registration, so we won't know numbers there until probably next board meeting we'll have some. So that's exciting.
Mhm.
It's interesting, the areas where we're seeing some growth. Thank you, Joanne. Continuing ed is up 17%. We have reached out both to, and Joanne has reached out to both of the directors at the new directors at the Y and up at NCRD. And we have new contracts with them to incentivize them to enroll our students and things like that. So that looks pretty good there. CTE, in part because of some of the things that Tiffany talked about there, is up 10%. Our general lower division, general education kind of courses are up 12%. Drops in apprenticeship, but we lost a carpenter apprenticeship, so not a really big deal there. Drops in developmental ed, which is a good thing again, but not because we're moving them into credit level courses there. So anyhow, that's pretty good. So we feel pretty good about that piece there. We've talked a lot about campus transformation. I really feel the transformation is not an overstatement here. We have a permanent new campus entrance. You can see the buildings tied together if you get an eagle eye view where you can see all of them from one of the windows out here. It just feels really good to have that done. Of course, you saw that the CIT building's coming along, and it was really nice to see that siding, like Jason mentioned, get rid of the baby blue. And even though we like the color blue,
We do. Wrong color blue.
wrong color blue, though it did not meet our palette. So anyhow, we're excited about that. We've also started looking at how do we provide good IT services and other campus needs to a multi-building functioning campus. So we started really looking at that. We had some consultants here to talk to us about our IT services in Jenzabar and how we're utilizing them, how we better utilize services, and they will present us with a report about things we could do differently, things that we are doing well. They were impressed overall with the technology that we've had and the ability to keep up as best we have. Thank you, Cheryl, with limited staffing. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of needs come from that. My goal with a lot of these, like I was doing with the business service and IT and human resources, as I'm trying to do some succession planning and get us in good shape for when the next wave of leadership changes occur. I'm not anticipating it anytime soon, but it will happen. And so we just want to be ready for that. So that's what we're working hard for, that piece there. Tiffany mentioned the nursing program, so really excited about that. We have started looking internally at our portfolio of offerings to try to make sure that we can sustain the programs that we have in the way that we're offering them. This is all part of our work with the Rural Guided Pathways. A number of us leave 7 a.m. tomorrow morning from Portland to head to Pittsburgh, where we will participate with the 27 other colleges of the Rural Guided Pathways project on tackling similar issues. And the focus of this institute is our secondary education partners. So we're real excited about learning about better ways to form relationships with high schools and dual credit. So we have the superintendent from the Akani, Tyler Reed, coming with us. We have Adam Whalen, who is, I don't know his title, but he works in CTE, workforce development, with Northwest Regional ESD. So we're bringing some of our community partners with us for that. So I think that's it. I mentioned a little bit about, the fiscal environment. We're looking pretty good for next year. I worry about future years coming, and we're getting just trying to get us in as good a shape as we can for that. We are exploring shared services, outsourcing to not only just save, but to also provide better services.
I'm
That's
sorry.
me.
That's
That's that talking. I thought, wow, I sound really stately today.
Sorry.
I should interview for radio. So we're working on that. As a result, I just want to mention, I think one of the areas that we're going to spend spring term focusing on is culture and employee engagement. It has been a challenging time. I want to recognize it for our employees, certainly the ones that lost their jobs. It's been a challenge for them, although I will say all of them have found employment, which I feel good about. But it's also hard on our existing staff. There's this feeling of waiting for the next shoe to drop, right? And so next term and moving in through next year is what about building back some culture and stability with the campus. And just some things, you're in the middle of National Women's History Month, so that's pretty exciting. We just passed International Women's Day a couple days ago, so that's good. Just to highlight some upcoming dates, spring break campus will be open, but there aren't any classes, and that is March 23rd to the 28th. Please mark your calendars if you're around. We will have the campus open house and ribbon cutting on April 18th at 1 o'clock. So we're excited about that. Our next board meeting will be April 13th. Same bat place, same bat channel.
Thank you.
That's my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Paul? If not, do we have any board member discussion items?
I have two really quick things. One is that the donor directed fund at OCF that I manage, the National Bootstrap Scholarship, is going to give its first 2 scholarships this year. We're so excited.
Yay!
And I also I would like to have more. I have the minimum number of community members and I'd like more. So I'm looking for people who have a history of being bootstrap kids. That means they did their whole education by themselves, no financial or moral support from their families. So that's my definition of a bootstrap kid. So if you know anybody or if any of you are interested, please let me know.
And by no assistance, do you mean through 12th grade, through college? What are you talking
Mostly
about?
in college, yeah, college and career development. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other thing is that next week the foundation board meets and I'm officially the liaison between the 2 boards. So if you have anything I should bring to them, tell me now.
Oh, thank you.
Then I'll have the report going the other way at our next meeting.
Okay, terrific.
Nice.
Do we have anything for the foundation board?
We'll just talk about the amazing health sciences programs that we were
Okay.
educated about here. This is great. From Dean Slower.
Anything else? It is lovely that we still have daylight.
I know.
Yeah.
I know,
For a
we
little bit.
complain about daylight savings time, but that part is nice.
How did you feel about it this morning?
That was dark.
The daylight looks nice now.
Sunday
but-
morning, it was a bit of a problem.
Oh, yeah.
I hate getting up in the dark again.
Okay, any other board comments? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all so much. Thanks, everyone online, and safe travels to all of you.
Yes.
We hope you have a really meaningful and safe, uneventful trip.